Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Are you ready to turn in your guns? That's right. It's that time. You have about three choices. You can register them with the federal government. You can just relinquish them, turn them over to the government, or you can be considered a felon. Yes, that's a new ruling that has come out. You know, since Biden has been into office, he really hasn't done too much on guns. There's been a lot of stuff, and a lot, that we could stand here and talk about that we are so upset with, that is just flat out unconstitutional, that is just expanding this globalist agenda. But one thing that's kind of been untouched in a way, and that's guns. And yet, the entire time that he's been in office, he has repeated over and over and over again how he wants to take them from you. That all you need is a double-barrel shotgun. And everything else, you need to hand over to the government. Well, that day has changed. Many of you are already aware of this, but Friday the ATF made a new ruling regarding pistol braces. Now, some of you know all about this, and you have kept up on it all weekend, I'm sure, because there has been just an immense amount of videos on YouTube made. Others probably have no idea what this is about. You may not even know what a pistol brace is. And so I'll go over real briefly that, because that's not the focus that I want to make this video. If you want to know more intricate details of this ruling and the legal aspect of it, there's a lot of videos out there that you can go and watch. And so I'm not trying to recreate what's already been said. But basically the gist of it is a pistol, an AR pistol, an AK pistol. It is a weapon that looks very similar to a rifle. You're familiar with, let's just say, an AR rifle, except the barrel is short. And instead of having a standard stock on the back, it has just the buffer tube and typically a brace that you can attach to your forearm to stabilize it. This has been a hotly debated item with the ATF for a while, and they've gone back and forth on whether you can put that up against your shoulder and shoulder it like a rifle, or if you have to shoot it with one hand like a pistol. A lot of ridiculousness. Well, Friday they made their final ruling, and those pistol braces are now considered illegal. And of the estimated 40 million of those that are in existence, the potential for 40 million Americans now are felons. That's right. You have a choice. In the next 120 days, you can get online and you can go through the long, egregious process of registering your little pistol as a rifle, as an SBR rifle, okay, which is a short-barreled rifle. Normally, you have to pay a $200 stamp for that, but this time around, they're going to waive that, but you still have to register it. Or you can turn it over to the ATF, the whole weapon. You can just turn the weapon over to the ATF. You can destroy it. You can take the short barrel off of it and put a longer, at least 16-inch barrel on it. There's all these options for you, and they're just great. Or you can just do nothing and be considered a felon. I mean, it's a ridiculous and almost really an unenforceable law, but I'm pretty sure they've thought through that too, and they have a plan on how to enforce this. Just going through the whole process of registering it is absolutely ridiculous. If let's say 40 million Americans that own them all decided to go and register that, which I wouldn't advise that, but if they did, the website that you do that on is already clunky and takes a ridiculous long time, and the ATF just doesn't even have the manpower now to keep up on applications. It would most definitely overwhelm the system. But that's not all what I wanted to talk about, okay? Yes, this is an awful thing, and this is an absolute violation of constitutional rights. This is a executive department creating law, and I'm sure, or at least hopeful, that the Supreme Court will eventually rule on this and overrule it. But that doesn't take an account for the amount of lives that are damaged between now and then, because unless the Supreme Court just gets a good bug up under their you-know-what, it'll probably take a while before a case like this gets to the Supreme Court. And there could be definitely lives destroyed between now and then, and property seized, and other things, because that's just what the ATF does. I believe, if I read correctly, about 140 congressmen signed a paper in opposition to this, sent it to the ATF, which is pretty sad that we have definitely more than 140 Republicans in Congress. So that tells you right there how many of them are actual somewhat, in some realm, sort of in the ballpark of conservatives. And then the rest, well, they're most definitely in name only. The point to this, in my perspective, is we're getting to that point, okay? We're getting to that time that I think we're starting to really have to make some serious decisions. All the things that's happened over the last couple of years, the majority of them, not all, but the majority of them have been, decisions of discomfort, right? If you choose to not, put a little mask on or put a little thing in your arm, there may be some uncomfortableness. You may have to do things that you didn't normally do. Or there may be been discomfort in the lack of supplies or the increase in prices. But now we're getting down to actual criminal acts. We're getting down to, if you comply with their law, you are relinquishing basically your rights. If you do not comply with their law, and I use that term very loosely, then you become a felon and could be punished in up to 10 years in prison. This is a little different than what we've dealt with in the last couple of years, and this is a blatant violation of our rights. And I'm not going to get on here, mostly because, well, YouTube would really hate this. And I've already been suffering as a channel here lately because they've been just slapping me around, I'm pretty sure. But, so I'm not going to tell you to do too much resistance. But I will say that I am not, nor will I ever register anything. It's not going to happen. Even if, let me put it this way. Here in Missouri, we have constitutional carry. We've had it for a while, which means that you do not have to have a permit to conceal carry. Before that, we had the standard concealed carry permit. I did not have a concealed carry permit. I have never had a concealed carry permit. It's not because I couldn't get one. Of course I could get one. I have a completely clean record, other than a, traffic ticket here and there that everyone has. But I refused to get a concealed carry when it came out, because, and there was when I remember, I've lived in Missouri most of my life, and I remember, blah, 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 blah. I remember when the concealed carry permit came to an existence, and everyone just thought it was great and wanted to run out and get it so that they can carry conceal. And I said, you're a sovereign individual. You're an American citizen. You don't need government's permission to carry a weapon to defend yourself. It's right there in the Constitution that it protects that. And I never did get a concealed carry permit because I wasn't going to allow them to permit me to do something that I can already morally and constitutionally do. So I'm not going to say that I carried, and I'm not going to say that I didn't. But if I felt the need and felt that I could be in danger, I did what I needed to do to protect myself and my family. It's the same way with this. When I think of this, I think of the quote from Samuel Adams, and I know I can't remember it. I should know it. I've read this probably a million times. But the quote where, he says, bow down and lick the hands that feed you. May the chains, rest lightly upon you, and, go away from us. That one. You're probably all familiar with that one. And may it be known that you were our countrymen, or, that you weren't our countrymen, go away from us, that kind of thing. Basically, I know I've totally butchered this quote. Wasn't planning on saying that. Basically, it's saying that, if you want government so much, if you want that protection, if you want that safety and that security, then go ahead. Put those chains on your neck, bow down, lick their hands as they feed you, and just accept that you're not going to have any freedom, but, they're going to take care of you. And are they going to take care of you? That's the crossroads that we're starting to come to. Now, I know that many of you may say, "Well, this is just a pistol brace. I mean, this isn't. You're blowing this out of proportion. This is not a big deal. Not even every gun owner has one of these. I know a lot of gun owners that don't even have one of these. That's not the point. The point is that they have completely usurped the Constitution and our individual rights by doing this, and now they are threatening potentially 40 million or more Americans with being felons, and then taking away all of their guns when that happens, and many other rights and much other types of property, putting them into prison over something that for a long time now has been a very legal thing to do, and the justification they have for this is absolutely ridiculous, and they don't even have the authority to do this. We are getting to that point that many people in the comments I see ask more and more. At what point do we actually stand up and fight back? At what point do we say, this is enough? I'm not just hiding away in a corner and waiting for this to blow over. That's a question I can't answer, and I'm not going to answer on here either. But it's definitely something that people should be thinking about, at least in small groups and in your local area. What kind of relationship do you have with the local politicians around you, or what type of people are they? Are they the type of people that would welcome this and allow the ATF to come into their county and to do all their things that they want to do to you? Or are you living in a place where the county sheriff is going to say, not in this county, buddy? Maybe that's something that you should think about. Do you surround yourself with people and build a community of people that you can know and trust and share the same ideals, so that, when they come calling, there's others that can kind of help you out? Because the way this is all going, and I think this is just the beginning. I think, to me, that's the reason why this ATF pistol brace is so significant, is because it's just the beginning. We know that because that's what they said. That's what Joe Biden has said. That's what they've all said, that this is just the beginning, okay? They want to take this and run with it, and I suspect they probably will. And so we're seeing the threshold being, crossed. Now they are on to guns, and I suspect more and more we will see legislation, and probably not legislation, but more rulings from the ATF. And even if there's a chance that the Supreme Court could overturn them, the damage that could be done between now and then could be great. And who knows, maybe they are just doing this to kind of poke us and see how far we will go. I don't know, but the point is, folks, if I was with you face to face, I would tell you to stand your ground. I would tell you to hold on to your individual rights that are protected by the Constitution. The less people that register and do the things that the ATF is telling them to do, then the less, the less legitimacy this ruling has. What's the likelihood that they can round up 40 million people? Probably unlikely. And sometimes passive resistance to a law is sometimes the best way to nullify it. And again, this isn't even a law. It's just a rule. And which one more time proves that this law of admiralty that we actually live under, and not the Constitution, is a real thing. Because this is a completely unconstitutional ruling, and yet it's being done. And it's being done because the federal government doesn't even exist under the Constitution anymore. But that's a topic for another day. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order. It's time to prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.